No. We'll do it live.
Hey, everybody. And we're live, I'm presuming, on the old channel. How is everyone doing?
Good.
This is Super Kelly Brothers, not podcast. This is We'll Do It Live. My name's Sloan Kelly.
My name's Jody Kelly.
And my name is James Baker.
I'm going to put my glasses on so I can see it.
No, you put your glasses on. You put your glasses on so you can do this.
Actually,
yeah.
Mostly because my glasses don't fit and they keep going down my nose like this. So eventually I end up looking like this, going like, well, actually, it's like Chuck Schumer. Oh, I don't think we need to be like that.
Nice.
So what's everyone drinking tonight? So this is us live. This is our live show. So it's all completely unscripted and, you know.
Not that we're never scripted.
No, I know. Well, okay, that's true. Giving the game away.
I know. I know.
So what's everyone drinking? James, you first.
I'm drinking Diet Iron Brew, or should I say sugar-free Iron Brew? Is it just yeah. And I've got myself a wee Timmins caramel wafer, son.
Caramel wafer.
Timmins caramel wafer.
Very Scottish of you.
James, did the ice cream van come round?
It did, aye. Yeah, it did.
You running there?
Let me get my purse.
We are five glass bottles to take back, so you can afford your caramel.
Looking for the £2 coin.
That's it.
Yes.
Can I get a 99?
That's 2.5, son. What?
Aye. You used to get videos at the ice cream van as well. Remember?
What kind of videos did you get?
Maybe I shouldn't talk about that.
The only videos I heard you got from the ice cream van were not appropriate.
Sorry, it wasn't an ice cream van.
Is that not just your pal who had a van?
It's at the back of the van.
So anyway, Jody, what are you drinking?
What is red as Jody's t-shirt?
I
Jody,
know. I'm drinking a white wine. I think it's a Sauvignon Blanc.
Was it what was left in the cupboard?
Very sophisticated. This one's gone.
Yes. I can't do this.
Right.
So hang on, look at this, right? So you've got, I don't know. All right. So what is it? Is it just labeled white wine, or does it have an actual name?
No, it's a Sauvignon Blanc.
Oh, very nice.
Eating a caramel log probably isn't best done on
it's
air.
not.
Okay.
No,
I'll
not
finish
really.
this. Right. I'll stick
The
my
pot
iron
noodle the
brew.
last time.
Pot noodle.
I was trying to hide it. You eat a pot noodle.
I'm drinking a Pitchfork Porter.
What the heck is that?
That sounds pretty lethal.
It is from Oast House. No, it's not. It's 5% maybe. 5.3%.
Is that one of those beers that tastes like treacle?
It's one of those beers that tastes like Guinness.
Watery
but it's
treacle.
not Guinness.
Oh, is it?
No.
Or is it?
It's a nice porter. Porter's not a strong beer. Well, okay, it shouldn't be a strong beer. I know people drink 9% porter, but that's not a typical porter. It's a nice beer.
Is this a beer
Natalie
podcast?
Portman. I know
Welcome
exactly.
to we'll drink it live.
Yeah.
It's
Good
got,
idea.
it's got, I'm getting
I know.
I'm getting nutty overtones.
Right, anyway,
I'm putting my caramel logs away.
yeah.
Okay. You've got more than one.
I know. Bad idea.
James
Anyway.
has an ice cream van.
I know.
Yeah.
So we've got 3 topics to go through tonight.
Yeah.
Normally they take about anywhere between 45 minutes and an hour, depending on we talk through these things.
Hopefully not. I'm thinking half an hour each.
Okay. Jody, do you want to go with your topic
It's
first?
a school night after all.
It is a school, but having said that, though, I'm off tomorrow.
And what time is it over there?
5 after 5. Yeah, 5 after 5.
That means 5 past 5.
To all you normal people.
That's right.
Yeah.
Or if you want to know what time it is in the UK, just look at Jodie's ginormous clock in the background. Hey, Jodie,
It's back to front. Oh, no.
Do you know that is also? It's not. It doesn't matter for 10 past 10. It's the
That's
same.
true.
It doesn't.
Good point.
It's also the time that the clock tower stopped as well, which is about the same size as your clock. In Back to the Future. Steady. It's a family show.
That is the clock from Back to the Future.
Oh, it is. All right. Okay.
No,
that explains it then, isn't it?
So are the comments on? The only reason I'm asking is because myself and Anthony done one the other night, and by the time we'd finished, I was like, oh, I was kind of hoping people would ask us questions. He was like, I think I left the comments turned off.
Oh, really?
Aye.
Comments should be on. I'm going to check and see.
Yeah. Well, anyway. Let's kind of start.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
There's three.
Yeah.
We've got 3 topics. We've got 3 topics, don't we?
Yeah.
Your turn.
Yours, James, is
just basically like the certificates, like for movies and stuff, and
maybe
how they've changed, how they work. What was your first 18? That kind of stuff, Just generally just talking about that subject. Nothing really specific.
Yep. And mine is what's mine again? Mine's remakes. And yours, Sloan, is
remakes.
Mine's remakes.
The demise of Star Wars.
Yours better not be remakes as well, Sloan.
The demise
Unless
of
you
Star
guys are
Wars.
messing about with this.
Or the demise of Star Wars.
Yes. Okay, comments are definitely working.
mean
Jodie, I can't hear you.
Can you not hear me?
I can hear you. You having technical problems?
Technical issues.
See, so it is working. Comments are working.
Can you hear us? Can you hear Sloan?
Can you walk towards the light?
Yes. Jackpot.
Yeah. That's it. Done. I'm here.
You try switching it off and back on again.
I have.
Oh, don't do that.
No, don't do that.
So, awesome. So, what topic are we going to start off with?
I'll go. I've written things down. I've made notes.
Okay. All right. Oh, look at you.
I know. I'm learning.
As well.
After how long we've been doing this? 2 years.
I know.
not on YouTube. Not on YouTube. Though.
You know what? It's coming up for 2 years.
Coming up for 2 years. When you have a special. Anyway, so yeah, I kind of was looking into best and worst remakes, and I was also thinking to myself, why do people remake movies? What's the purpose? And I've put down a few reasons. Reimagining a classic, right? Mm-hmm. Rebooting a franchise, remaking a foreign movie for English-speaking audiences, and to preserve movies that are old and maybe need a wee bit dusted down, preserve them as a newer model, clean them up and make it all nice and modern. So that was the kind of thing I was thinking. Best, I wrote down some of the best remakes that I personally I can think of, which some genuinely may shock you. I've only written down 6. The Fly, right? Obviously, the David Cronenberg movie is arguably better than the black and white because of the.
Oh no, 100%. I love the black and white one.
But the 80s modern, I was going to say modern, but the 80s version was like more like a horror film. It was really, really psychologically edgy as well. 12 Monkeys was a reimagining of a film. It was actually an art film called Legit, and it was a series of photographs, black and white photographs, that told the story. I think it was only about half an hour long, and Terry Gilliam had seen that short movie from like 70s or 60s or whatever it was, and I think it's like an art house movie, and he looked at that and then he created a full movie out of it with Bruce Willis and whatever the girl was called in it. I can't remember. True Lies is a remake.
I did not know that.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
So a French movie.
It was called La Totale, which means the total. I'm imagining.
Did you Google that? Did you go to translate.google.com and type that in?
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Obviously, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. We talk about that quite a bit. Casino Royale, the Jimmy Bond film.
Oh,
yeah, that's a remake. So, does anyone remember who was in the original? The original
David Niven.
David Niven.
Played
And
James Bond, didn't he? Was it not like a comedy though? It was a comedy. It wasn't an actual. Even though it was I think that was the first. That was the first James Bond novel, wasn't it? Am I right in saying that? And
I said yes too quickly there.
I think it was. Anyway, but they never made it as a James Bond novel movie, and well, they didn't make it as an official James Bond movie as a Albert Cubby Broccoli until Daniel Craig, James Bond,
right? Okay,
and it was more like the book, I think, than Casino Royale, the comedy version. Nightmare on Elm Street.
That's a remake.
That has shocked me. Is this number?
Why?
Is that number 6? Because number 6 has shocked me. I didn't know it was a remake.
I think.
True
you
Lies
shocked you.
True Lies did shock us. Or are you talking the Nightmare on Elm Street? Not the Robert Englund one.
Aye, the remake. This is all about remakes, James.
All right. Okay. Sorry.
I thought you meant the original.
Are you sure that's just
Englund. I thought it was like
I'll pay attention next time.
Le Maire de la Elm de la Rue or something.
I know. I thought you were going to say like the original 1984 Nightmare on Elm Street was a remake.
Was a French? Oh, right. Sorry, it was a French movie. No.
Okay.
Can you imagine?
I was like, I'm leaving now.
I know. Spanish film. No, it was obviously the original in the 80s by Wes Craven.
Mm-hmm.
Was remade. I don't know who directed the latest one. They only did one, though they didn't kind of milk it.
They did. It didn't really happen, did it?
It was all right, though. I thought.
I never watched it.
I don't think I disliked it.
I watched it. I like Freddy Krueger as well, but never.
It had the guy from Watchmen in it. He was Freddy Krueger. Rorschach from Watchmen.
Oh right.
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
I don't know the guy's name, but I know who you're talking
I can't
about.
remember his name, but he was a guy.
I want to say James.
So yeah, was that?
I think his first name's James. I'll look it up.
Worst, quickly go through Wicker Man. A lot of people think the original Wicker Man was bad, but I loved the original Wicker Man. And Nick Cage, who I love, was in the remake, which I thought, oh, brilliant! This is going to be amazing. That's terrible, awful.
Do you know,
original
like,
Nicolas Cage is full on Nicolas Cage in it as well. Like with his acting, he's like given full free range to do what he wants. It's
giving it the beans.
Did it take place in Scotland?
The original did.
Remake?
No, the original. That's the remake. Sorry.
The remake didn't. No, it was
No?
like a wee kind of island off New York or something like Manhattan. I think it's called.
And the original started Ewa Wuwa.
It did. It started Iwa Wuwa.
It did.
It did.
Equalizer.
Ewa Woo.
Iwa Wuwa.
Ewa Wuwa.
By the way,
Edward
Hot Fuzz is not
Yes.
The Wicker Man. It is kind of the Wicker Man, and so I would class that as being kind of a reboot, but with a little comedy edge to it. And is that a fruity number there? And so I think that's a better reboot than the actual reboot was.
What was?
Hot Fuzz.
Oh, Hot Fuzz. Aye, that had the elements of it, didn't it?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I never seen the Nick Cage.
I never saw it either. I saw the terrible CGI bees in the wicker basket thing. That was
awful. Bad
awful.
acting.
Yeah.
Sometimes I love Nick Cage for bad acting, though. You know.
You can't be
I
a
like
bit of
him
Cage.
You can't beat a Cage. When he's full on Cage, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
Psycho. This is worst remakes I'm talking about because I've got that on my list because it was basically shot for shot, scene for scene, everything exactly the same as.
Who directed the remake?
It was
Vince Vaughn.
No,
He starred in it, didn't he?
Did he star in it?
It was a kind of art house type.
I'm sure it was someone pretty famous, some actor or something.
I've not got my phone through here. No, I do. No, it wasn't an actor. It was guy that did like my own Private Idaho and stuff like that.
Gus Van Sant.
Gus Van Sant. That's it.
There you go.
He also
directed
Twister.
He directed Twister.
Oh no, he didn't.
No,
No, sorry, I'm thinking of Jan LeBont. Just ignore me.
Jan LeBont.
Jan LeBont.
Is he?
Viggo Mortensen's in it.
In Psycho.
In the one you're talking about.
The remake.
Yeah. So's Julianne Moore. So's Julianne Moore.
But it's Anne Hesh, isn't it? Is it Anne Hesh?
Anne Hesh. Marion Crane.
The girl.
Yeah.
She gets murdered in the shower. Anyway, it's like scene for scene remake. There's nothing new they've added to it. It's exactly the way Hitchcock shot it, and he did that on purpose probably because he thought he couldn't do anything better, maybe. But
and Flea, Flea's in it.
Is he?
From Red Hot Chili Peppers,
Yeah.
He's just in the corner.
I think if you're doing something, a remake, you've got to kind of put something of yourself into it to make it either different. But then you can't win with remakes either, can you? Because there's always going to be people that go, it's not as good as the first one, unless the first one was crap.
I mean, Ocean's 11 is arguably better than the first one.
Well, here's an example. Well, that's true. But here's an example, though, of how you can't win with remakes. The Disney remakes, the live-action remakes, you cannot win with those.
No.
Lion King is a beat for beat as well, remake of the cartoon. So anybody that watches it goes, it's exactly like the cartoon. I hate it, But there's other people going, I hate it because it's nothing like the cartoon, because it's a live action version.
I liked it again. I think that ticks my boxes. Well, I hadn't seen Lion King before, so I was just like, this is a great film.
Had you not?
No, I hadn't seen it. No, and then I watched it with the family. They loved it, so I had a few beers. Yeah. We're sorted.
You know that Lion King's a remake as well.
What the cartoon? The original? So it's a remake of a remake?
Yes. It's a remake of Hamlet.
Hamlet?
Yeah. It's the exact same story as Hamlet. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Didn't know that. I'll need to go back to the Mel Gibson version we were talking about in a previous episode.
You will need to go back to the Mel Gibson version when he goes nuts and he jumps off and saves the guy from suiciding himself. Oh no, that's a different movie.
Suiciding himself?
Yeah, with a weapon.
Total Recall with Colin Farrell.
Oof.
No, I haven't seen that. Because I refuse to see it.
Don't.
Because you respect yourself. That's why.
Yes, absolutely.
That's why you haven't
seen it.
I don't understand why that movie was made. At all.
Well, for the reasons I've said at the beginning.
So what were the reasons? The reasons were
preserve movies for new audience. I would say that comes under that. I would say Lion King's reboot. I would say Psycho is preserving movies for.
Do you not think there's actually a more nefarious reason as to why they reboot movies?
I don't know what that word means.
Underhanded.
What do you mean, Sloan?
Like a dark reason for it. I think the real reason is they want to keep the copyright on that material, and that's the real reason why they keep remaking.
Yeah, there is that. Aye, true. I never thought of that.
Because it's the only way that, like, Little Women, for example. I know people write in and complain about us talking about Little Women. I complain about Spider-Man as well, and we'll get to that in just a second, I'm going to assume. But they remake Little Women just about every every 5-10 years they'll remake that movie. What is it about that
10
movie?
years,
Is it
10
like
months.
yeah? What is it about that movie that needs to get retold for modern audiences? I mean, I've heard it's a timeless classic, but if it's a timeless classic, why not just show the 1939 version?
Is that the most remade movie of all time?
I don't know.
I don't know, man.
There's a
I don't
question.
know. If ever Little Woman ever comes on in this house, I would just. I have
You
to
leave?
I just.
I'm going for a long walk.
Aye. Off a
Basically.
short bridge. I'm going to suicide
Off a
myself.
short bridge. Suicide myself. Little Women.
9 Danka.
Okay, so according to Insider, which is taking a hell of a long time to load, despite the fact I have quite a good connection here, it's saying that it's taking too long to load. It's saying it is one of the movies that's been remade a long time. A Star Is Born has also been remade. 1937, 1954, 1976, which is the Chris Christopherson one, and 2018 with Lady Gaga and Bradley.
Lady Gaga?
Lady Gaga? Lady Gaga?
Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga?
Lady Gaga?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's how you pronounce it. The Great Gatsby's been remade 4 times.
Or Dad?
No.
Just asking. Yeah, that must be one of the most remade movies, Little Women, for whatever reason. Don't know why.
No idea why.
Soft reboots as well, because you were talking slowly about soft reboots.
Yep.
Sorry, see before you move away from Little Women, you could literally put Little Woman on a space station or a spaceship somewhere, and I would watch it. It could be the exact same thing. I would just watch it. Continue.
Reimagining?
Would this be the same as? Would you do the same thing with 27 Dresses?
No, probably not. No.
Okay, just checking.
because they did that with the Seven Samurai, didn't they?
There you go, 27 Dresses.
Seven.
Yeah.
They reimagined it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
that's it. Quite a few times.
American audiences, or
Western audiences, I think, in general.
And the Mandalorian kind of did it as well. And
the Mandalorian. It's based on that wolf and young cub trope that Japan has.
That's what I had written down here. Lone Wolf and Cub. I had it written down.
Oh, did you?
Did you?
Lone Wolf, because I was going to say Lone Wolf and Cub is basically when they filmed Shogun Assassin. I don't know if you've ever seen that original. The original film Shogun Assassin, it's like a proper X-rated at the time. There was so much blood and it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
So you got Lone Wolf and Cub, which is basically Shogun Assassin, which is basically The Road to Perdition, is basically that story. And so is The Mandalorian. Yep. It's just all Lone Wolf and Cub, which is a great read, actually, that we were talking about Frank Quietly last week. So, and if you look at the artwork on the small, originally published Lone Wolf and Cub books, they're like this big and that thick, like a little, I don't know, Bible or Oxford Dictionary. And then the artwork just very much reminds me of Frank Quietly. And his exhibition that was up at the
I went to see that.
Up at
the Kelvin Grove.
The Kelvin Grove. There's loads of that stuff that looks exactly like the Shogun Assassin stuff. So, and that's all definitely interlinked. And there's been other films that are basically Lone Wolf and Cub, this idea of some, I don't know, not necessarily assassin, but maybe an assassin, maybe a hitman, maybe someone who's not connected to this young
Leon,
child.
for example.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
There's these tropes that are just go through these films.
The Last of Us.
Constantly just churned out again and again and
Last
again.
of Us, yep.
And I never grow tired of seeing that being retold again and again, especially with the Mandalorian. I think that's an amazing version of it.
Oh, that's brilliant. And also, people have stolen. Stolen.
Been inspired by.
When you see Jorodowski's
June.
Can never say that guy's name. He's the Dune movie that was never made. See the amount of things from that was stolen for Star Wars, the original Star Wars.
Aye.
You know, the spice, the desert. You know, worms.
Yeah, but that's
you know,
Frank.
the Sarlacc pit,
Frank.
all that stuff. Aye, but I mean, you know, the story as well. It's set in the desert. You know, so is Star Wars at the beginning, Tatooine. You know,
Jakku.
there's a lot of kind of similar things. And he obviously took a lot from, was it Hidden Fortress he took Star Wars from, which everybody knows, I suppose, but the kind of Japanese movie. Akira Kurosawa. One of his, you know, who did all the, not all of the best, but all the most well-known samurai movies back in the day. And, you know, the American filmmakers must have went, oh, I'll take that for my cowboy movie. You know? But George Lucas took it for his sci-fi movie, his Flash Gordon movie.
Yeah, he's borrowed loads of stuff.
Absolutely,
loads of stuff. Which, do you know what? I think it's fine. I don't have a huge issue with it. I love it. I love if you take all that stuff that's done like that and just put it into this story here. Then
I think if you do it in a clever way, it's all good. Definitely.
Listen, you were talking about. I cut you off there, Jody. You were talking about like the Force Awakens. I don't think.
Oh no, I was just talking about soft. I was just going into kind of soft reboots. You know,
obviously that's a kind of a soft reboot / remake of the original Star Wars.
Very, very similar. You know, if you were to describe the story of Force Awakens and describe I've seen this as a meme. Describe the 1977 Star Wars. It's almost beat for beat exactly the same story, but done in a little bit different way, tied in a bow and served up, you know, nicely. Which I was utterly cool about.
Totally.
I thought, and see before Force Awakens came out, and I said to myself, see if the worst thing I can say about this movie is it's a soft reboot or a reboot of Star Wars. I have not got a problem with that.
Totally.
Although the one that's controversial, because I think most people loved Force Awakens, but the one that's controversial is the Ghostbusters reimagining. So, or is that a soft reboot or it's a reimagining? Isn't it?
I think it's a reimagining because
I suppose it was a soft reboot because it was going to be a franchise, and you know,
it was
a new franchise, I suppose. So, kind of was because it was the exact same story. It was just with females.
I think, to be honest, they should have got a different director. I
liked it. I liked it.
I like the special effects. Like I went to the movie to see it, and to cinema to see it.
You saw it in 3D, didn't you?
And no, was it 3D? No, I don't think it was 3D. I think it was just not traditional 2D. But traditional 2D, it was just a movie. But the proton pack beams, they came out of the frame.
Yeah, so you must have seen it in 3D then.
No, it wasn't 3D. It was just 2D.
No, they can sometimes do that. They'll have the frame up there, and it'll be deliberately artificially lowered.
So the reason
they'll have a stream come out.
The reason they did that was when you see that in 3D, it looks as if it's in the cinema.
Yeah, it looked pretty good in 2D.
It's meant to be the best 3D movie because of that.
Is it?
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of love for that 3D.
Film. I do like it. I do.
A lot of love for it.
I've seen it quite a few times, and
we could watch it in the house, and then we could probably stop it and then just rewatch it again. It's one of those films.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it at all. So that's kind of me. I don't know if you have anything to chip in.
Well, I was going to chip in a bit about the Lone Wolf and Cub, but obviously we've discussed that, and I think the only other thing I really want to talk about was George Romero's Dawn of the Dead and Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead. Two films that I love equally. Two films I think that, you know, myself and Gillian watch them on a fairly regular basis, maybe once or twice a year. We always, let's watch that. She prefers Zack Snyder's, I prefer George Romero's, but I love both.
Was Zack Snyder's the first? Was that his first movie?
I don't know.
Zack Snyder.
Did 300 come after that? I think it was his first movie because
I
all of
think
them
300 did.
was car adverts before then. And one of his car adverts was in one of the opening scenes where the couple are lying on the bed and they kind of fall asleep, and in the background you think there's a Subaru, and that was his car advert. So I think he went from car adverts to like feature films.
Dawn of the Dead to
like
300.
I think, and then after that he went to 300, and then he went to Sucker Punch. I think.
No, I think Watchmen was.
Was it Watchmen then Sucker Punch?
Sucker Punch.
So,
So
anyway,
odd, wasn't it? No.
But yeah, I think that's probably one of my favourite remakes.
Yeah,
I would say so. So
I think my favourite probably is The Thing. Never spoke about that there, but one of the best remakes. I think probably for me is The Thing.
So what are you talking about? Right, okay.
My favourite remake.
Right, okay. So you're talking about Carpenter's The Thing.
John Carpenter's Thing
as a remake of the black and white
version.
Yeah, that's fine.
Sorry,
because I know they not just because they've done the kind of the reboot was meant to be. I never really watched.
Oh, that one? No, I don't. No, I don't really. It was okay,
don't class
but
that as,
no.
Right,
I mean it's okay, but no, the original John Carpenter. The Thing.
Absolutely, that's a great.
What's your favourite remake?
I mean, I mentioned earlier on Ocean's 11. That for me is a movie I could watch back to back.
I like that one.
They did a soft boot recently with the all female cast: Sandra Bullock, Aquafina, Kate Blanchett. I want to say is in it, and Rihanna, I think, and it's good as well.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
I couldn't see it.
There's a kind of nod to Danny Ocean in it as well.
Because is Sandra Bullock not the sister?
Sister, yeah.
Aye.
Danny's. It's the first 2 minutes. Danny's dead, or is he?
Spoilers.
You don't know. There's like this kind of hint that he's dead at the start, but you don't really know.
Right. Okay.
The opening scene is basically she's at a crematorium place where it's all the wall of remembrance thing.
Right.
She's kind of swearing at Danny Ocean's 1 foot by 1 foot plaque thing that they have. Ample Hill Cemetery or whatever it is they're at. And that's how it starts.
Mark Trainer's just put into the WhatsApp group. I think I'm the only one watching.
I think he is.
I want to give him a wee shout out.
Hi, Mark.
He's probably gone away to his bed now.
He probably is. He's not got a question. He must maybe watch me. He's not typing a question.
I know. So, but he's watching, and then JP's like, "What are you watching?"
Oh my god! A car crash. I see it.
I mean, there's other movies that just defy reboot, and I think they fall into that category of they just want to keep the copyright, which is 20th Century Fox trying to make Fantastic Four happen. Like they made like a crappy version of it in the early 90s because they needed to have it. Yeah, it was never released because they needed it. They needed the copyright. They needed to maintain the license on it.
I think
they did the exact same thing.
Though. That one.
Oh yeah, you can see it. Yeah, it is awful. It is
still
really
better better than Josh Trank's, although it wasn't his fault though. To be fair,
I never saw that. I loved his that movie.
Fury.
His first movie he did
the tank movie.
Fury. The tank one. I quite liked that. It was okay.
Oh, that's a great film.
That wasn't his first one. It was it was kind of the Fantastic Four. His first movie, Invincible or something. It was kids find a kind of.
Oh, I've got a wee message from. Right, so I've got a message from Mark Harris. My friend Mark Harris is also watching.
All right,
but for some, I don't know if the. Just wondering if you can leave comments.
Yeah, I left a comment. I left a comment there. See.
Right. Anyway, that's
me. We can wrap up.
All right.
Nice one.
Okay.
Cool. Good subject.
Cheers.
No problem.
Next
No,
time,
really.
we'll
Thanks, James. Thanks.
next time we'll talk about. Oh no, we are going to talk
Seriously.
about Star
No,
Wars.
thank you.
Honestly,
Good.
No,
it's
really.
fine.
Yeah, fine.
Right.
No, like,
Cheers.
right, go. Right, who's next?
Okay,
Right,
who's
listen, I'm going to go in. Hold on, 2 seconds. Well, I know we're live, but just talk amongst yourselves.
That's fine.
Actually, I think I can remove you from there. There you go. I can remove you.
There you go.
So we'll have a
thank
break.
goodness. Thank goodness
He's
he's
away.
gone. I know.
Jeez, oh, dragging us down as usual with his reboots.
He's dead annoying.
It's a great subject.
Just-
Do you know what?
Go
I
on,
did actually do some research on reboots
Uh-huh.
2 nights ago, and I had like a whole bunch of windows open on my machine,
Uh-huh.
and I came down this morning and went, "What's all this?" Click,
Oh,
and I lost everything.
you
I'm
just
like,
just lost everything.
yeah. I'm like, damn it.
We, myself and Faith, if we're driving around the place just now, it seems to be the only soundtrack. This is completely unrelated to anything. It was just whilst Jody was away, just so it would stop moaning about him. But he's back, so. But no, listen. Just
Stop talking about me.
Faith and I keep on listening to the Princess and the Frog soundtrack.
Oh, really?
Yeah. For some reason, it's just every time we're in the car. I think
It's supposed to be
the
really
music's
good as well.
The music's excellent. Totally. Slowly becoming one of my favourite Disney films. So, well, quickly actually. So anyway, that's by the by.
They're replacing Splash Mountain in Disney with Tiana Ride.
All right. Okay. Interesting. Well, there you go. There you go.
So who wants to go next? James, you want to go next?
I'll go next. I'll go next. Right. So the thing I want to discuss is like just generally certificates and if it's a universal PG 12, a 15, 18. I don't know what the things are over there. Sloan, is it rated R? And you've got PG 13.
It's pretty much come as you are. As long as you're wearing shoes and a shirt, you get a service.
face mask.
PG-13 not the same as an R in Canada.
Do you know what?
I know it is. Yeah.
I think
Sausage Party is PG-13.
No, it's not. No, it was an R here. In fact,
I thought you said there was a wee
yeah, but
mum and a
R
wee
doesn't
girl.
mean.
I didn't see that.
No. So in Canada, like in America, R means restricted. In other words, no person under the age of 17 can be admitted without an adult. It's not like an 18 in the UK where it's like a hard, everybody has to be an 18. It's, you can, if you say it's okay, you're a parent, and you say this is okay for my child, you can bring them in.
So, but an NC-17 in Canada.
NC-17 is different. That's, but I don't. I'm not sure if they have that. NC-17's America. I think the one they have here is X, which is basically no one under the age of 18. Oh no, it's 18. It is an 18. It's an 18.
It's an 18 basically.
Yeah, 18A, which I think is only.
What does the NC stand for? No children.
I think so.
Yeah, no children. So it must be 17.
And rated R's, I think I liken a rated R to whatever's a 15 over here. I think I rated R as a 15.
Kind of.
All right. I thought R was the hardest one. I'd forgotten.
No,
about
NC-17 is basically the kiss of death for a movie. Because
they're restricting your people that can see it.
Yeah.
I was chatting to my my boss today, Ian, in the office. He used to manage a Warner Brothers cinema down at Newcastle. Oh, and he was just looking up. So I said, this is a subject I was going to be talking about tonight. And he looked up some of the stuff. One of the things that classifies a 15 and some of the things that you're allowed to see in a 15 and an 18. And the things, and I'm not going to say the full words, obviously, but a thing that will automatically make it an 18 over here is the C word. And the MF word will automatically make it a 18. However, you can have the C word in a 15 if it's within context and it actually means something. There's some rule about having it, like, I'm not going to give you an example, but it's just if it's within context, then it's allowed, under the British Film, I don't know what the classification board.
Board of certification.
But the thing I was always kind of interested about was like I remember when Terminator first came out, like in '84, and I got like a copy of it for Christmas one year. That was an 18, but then if you go and look up the Terminator now, it's a 15, and I don't know if it's been changed or if it's just over the years we've become desensitized to it. And I'd read stuff like the Terminator's first murder is like when he kills a couple of Sarah Connors, and I think one of the Sarah Connors he kills, the first one, he shoots her in the back. And that's one of the things apparently at the time that made it an 18. So I'm interested in all these little things that elevate it from this to this, or
well, I don't know what Jaws used to be certified as, but it's a PG now.
12. Is it not?
It was a PG. It was a PG for ages when it was in video.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And then I think you might be right. It might be back up again. I'm not sure about that, but I remember it was a PG, and I was like, really? Because my daughter watched it when she was like 5.
It is pretty gruesome. I'm going to grab my Blu-ray. Hold on.
Hannah watched it when she was Jaws. Hannah watched that when she was like 5 because it was a PG. That is a PG.
But the thing is that the movies have shifted. Movies have shifted though, as far as PG's concerned. That's a 12 now.
It's a 12 now.
But then 12 never existed, so it's maybe been rejigged. Yeah. Because do you remember the controversy with Gremlins?
PG-13, the first movie.
Because he's such a big shot, it was going to be a 15. And did they create that PG certificate for
PG-13.
Jaws?
Yep.
So for Gremlins.
For Gremlins, they created PG-13 because he wanted kids to go and see it because he felt it was a kids' movie, even though it was cartoon. He claimed it was cartoon violence. 15, it would be a death toll.
If it was a 15, it would be a killer for him financially.
I mean, there's loads of films out there that if you look at Karate Kids, I remember that just being a kids' film. But if you watch it with your kids these days, it's just like, well, that's a bit close to the bone. There's that the T-shirt of someone. It's got two pigs having sex, and it's got making bacon. There's just loads of, or even if you take the Goonies, it's all. I think that's why they just took Stranger Things, and they just said, look, it's a 15, because it's like it's what you remember the old PGs used to be. It's like we can swear if we want. I think that's where it can be a bit gory, and you don't have to really worry about it.
Goonies was another one. Goonies was another one, though.
No, I think it was PG. But going back to just for a sec, going back to Jaws, 37 years after its original release and during its theatrical re-release, the BBFC reclassified it from a PG to a 12A.
Oh,
12A? I wouldn't say 12 years, James.
I think 12A doesn't exist anymore. I
don't think it exists anymore. It's just a 12. So do you remember what the first 12 in Britain was?
It was a Kylie Minogue, Delinquents or something?
No, Delinquents was out at the same time as Batman was out, but Batman was the first.
Oh, was it?
Keaton's Batman was what they made for it, yeah. I think a 12 over here seems to be
there's nothing in that.
I know.
Ghostbusters used to be a PG. It's now a 12.
Really?
The original.
Does it give you the reasons?
It says that it was raised from PG to 12A due to sexual innuendo.
It's funny how some of those films, those kind of family classics that we watched, have been raised from PG to 12, and then some of those kind of hardcore films we watched have gone from 18s to 15s.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
They just kind of try to push those things into as much mainstream audience as possible to get.
Oh yeah,
but then maybe that's the most people that go to the cinema is that age group.
That's the reason why Aliens versus Predator and all these movies are all PG-13 is just get people in. So when the Predator, the alien bites down on the Predator and goes, pulls away, there's no holes, no blood, there's no nothing because they need bums on seats to pay for that movie.
I can't remember what Star Trek movie it was where they went aboard this Klingon ship and all the Klingons were dead. The gravity system didn't work, so they were all floating around.
Country.
There you go, and it was pink Klingon blood because they didn't allow it to be red because if they did, it would have taken it up to the next level. And there's other stories like that, like Kill Bill. So the scene where the bride fought the Crazy 88 in that huge kind of disco place, they switched that to black and white to get it through the censors, And I thought originally when I was watching it at the time, I was like, what a great kind of art thing to do. And yes, it was arty, but it also got past the censors because all that blood was still there. There was he didn't have to cut it or anything. And it was just black and white and grey.
Same with the animated bit in it as well.
Aye, that's right. Yeah, just to get past that. I feel we've discussed this before, have we?
We did. We have discussed that.
Oh, the animated thing, yeah. So the certification in Ontario, it's different all over Canada because every province has their own ratings board. But in Ontario, we've got general, which is just universal, the U certificate in the UK, parental guidance, PG, 14A, which is suitable for viewing persons 12 years of age or older. Persons under 14 must be accompanied by an adult. May contain violence, coarse language, and sexually suggestive themes. 18A is 18 years of age or older. Restricted is basically, that's the NC-17 one, which is what Deadpool was. No, Deadpool was 18A. It was 18A.
No, Deadpool, well, in the States, I know
it's a 15, wasn't it?
A rated R. It's a 15 over here.
It's let me see what Deadpool was here.
15's over here.
Actually,
definitely are old 18s.
A PG-13.
Definitely, because I would. Deadpool back in the day would have definitely been an 18, 100%.
Aye.
Sexual innuendo, extreme violence. I mean, the very beginning of Deadpool. Remember when he fights those Japanese people? Remember?
I know. That's right. Aye. Super.
Deadpool 2.
Deadpool's an 18A in Canada, which basically means you can bring a kid in, but they've got to be accompanied by an adult. Sausage Party's an 18A in Ontario, which means you can bring a kid in if you want.
Right, hold on a second, just quickly. I've seen this when I go on live watching this. I can see comments there, but I've not seen them up in the. Sorry, I know we're just kind of learning this.
I've got comments. Sorry, shoot.
Have you?
Yeah.
I've not. That's my old boy. That's my dad.
Hello there.
There we go. Hello there. Right, okay.
Hello there, anyway. Mr. Baker.
Cool. Sorry, I just wanted to say that. Sorry, I'm trying to interrupt you, Sloan.
Hello, James. Glad you're watching.
It's right there. It's right there. There. Yeah, and in Manitoba and Nova Scotia, Sausage Party is a 14A.
Oh, wow.
What?
Yeah, 14A for Sausage Party.
I think Sausage Party is shocking. It's
100%. It is. It is 100%. This movie should not have been made.
No, I liked it.
I didn't. I thought it was awful.
I actually thought it was really well made.
The bit at the end.
The bit at the end's outrageous. There's no getting away from that. But good party.
There we go. Listen, that's my dad. That's the guy who like probably when I was 10 years old, just got the Deer Hunter, and he was like, right, sit there and watch that.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, there's nothing wrong with me.
There you go. Edge of the man you have to do.
Yeah. That's a tough film. You watch that, innit? Yeah.
What a great film that is. Wonder if they'll ever remake that.
On a spaceship?
No, man, on a spaceship, I'd be alright with that.
I'd be alright with that, yeah. You'd be
with Nexus 6 replicants. Just throw everything in there in the mix.
Absolutely. Steady on now, you two. Calm down.
Jody, the movie practically writes itself at this point. I can just picture the scene, the opening scene. It's just this long tracking shot of a spaceship, of a ship approaching a space station floating in space.
One thing I was gonna One thing I was gonna talk about was how clever Alfred Hitchcock was to get Psycho through the, I don't know what the classification board is over in the States, but to get it through all the clever editing he'd done, that the famous or the infamous shower scene, they were like, no, you can't do that because of this, that, and the next thing. And then he was like, first of all, the blood's not red. And second of all, if we slow it down frame by frame, but there's this epic story behind him getting that past the American classification board to get his film released. And it's something that took him months and months and months, but a pretty cool story. So anyway, that's that. And then I found a fiver. Sorry, that was the point of that story.
You found a fiver?
I think it's amazing.
The point to the story.
the differences between the classifications in the UK.
I need to stop doing that because you take. Sorry, I need to stop doing that because you take stills of it and then get a horrible picture.
I know. There, have a still.
Exactly.
I know.
Always get
Don't take that as a still.
I know. Exactly.
50 minutes and 27 seconds.
Yeah. So listen, I just think there's loads of cool stories about that, and I do think PGs are now 12s and 18s are now 15s. You know, and I think 12s now you can have an F word in it. You know, it doesn't really seem to be a problem to have one F word in it. Oh, that's what I found over here. What else do I find?
12 you are allowed that.
Sorry?
At 12 you are allowed one F word.
One F. And then I find most... Yes, I find most of the superhero films are trying to get 12A so they can have the edginess, they can have the kind of really, really push the violence envelope without going OTT. And I think Deadpool was brave and it quite righteously so. They decided to make that rated R or a 15 over here. And I think to this day it's probably the most successful rated R.
Not anymore.
Movie. Oh, what is it? What's
Joker.
That? What's overtaken?
Joker.
Right, okay, of course. Yeah. So, and there's definitely now a market out there for rated R or 15 superhero films.
Yeah, and do you know what? I'm glad people are brave enough now to make R-rated movies that don't necessarily fit the we need to make a crap ton of money back from this movie. And be brave about it. So they can make movies like Joker, they can make movies like Deadpool now that they know are going to make some money in the back end. Because
but do you not think that's why those certificates exist now? That's what we were talking about a minute ago. The fact that it's basically a funnel now for their target audience. 12As and the 15s. If those movies are within that bracket, bingo. Quids in.
Right. And I think people are afraid to make an 18 now. I mean, it's just like, where's the money in that? So
that's what
you just don't see it.
Yeah, no, of course. But
if there was one there, I would love to go and support it.
Yeah,
but listen, things when we were kids, movies like Tango and Cash, Lethal Weapon, Die Hard, all of these movies, they were all 18s. If they were made, and I'll give a great example as well. RoboCop. We talked about this dovetails quite nicely into the other one about the Jodie's topic about reboots. So the rebooted RoboCop. RoboCop is a very, very violent movie, and it's about a very violent part of what's going to be American history because it's set in the future. They cut so much out of the remake that it was a 12A when they released it. And
that's unbelievable.
There's nothing in it now. It's the most sanitized piece of garbage ever. And if they maybe kept in some of the gore and all that kind of stuff and raised the certificate just a little bit more, they might have actually made a better movie. So what I think is happening is that we're not getting as good a movie as we used to get. Because people are looking at it going like, we need to get the target audience. So if we make it for a PG-13 or a 12A certificate, we know we're going to get a ton of people in there. But if we make it for an R, there's no guarantee of that. I mean, Joker and Deadpool are flukes in this day and age, because if they were made back in the 80s, nobody would have batted an eyelid and folk would just have gone to the movies to see it. But now, the way that we are, we're scared of this and that and the next thing. So they just target this bigger demographic because they can get more bummed. They can get adults and they can get kids in the cinema at the same time.
So what's Logan? The latest, or not the latest?
That must have been an 18.
Logan?
Was it 15?
It was a 15. It was a 15.
A 15?
I think so. That was one of those things. One of those ones. So, yeah, listen, that's me. I've finished talking about it. That's the stuff I really wanted to speak about. I hope to see more 15 where people take the risk and just go for it, because I think there's definitely an audience out there.
It was an
Those kind of
18A
films.
over here, Logan.
All right, okay.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, that's me. I'm finished. I'm done.
Okay. Nice one.
Cool.
Thanks, James.
Thanks, James.
No problem.
Okay.
Annoying nod from me. And
This is an
and a
even
wink.
more. This is an even more knowing nod. Sorry,
A wink and a nod.
I'm not sure what that means anymore.
None of that. Could mean in.
All right. I have a
Oh
list.
no, Sloan's got paper. Sloan's got a speech.
I know.
It's fine.
We're into the long haul.
Is that an
Go
A1 sheet of paper?
It's
I know.
US letter size.
All right, okay.
Jesus, you've
A
got
lot-
graphs and diagrams and
a
everything.
lot of small writing. Isn't there?
Good Lord.
I'll be sitting here like this. Right. As blind as a bat, exactly. Yes.
Oh, is
Okay.
this so you can push your thing up your nose?
So I can push my thing up my nose. Go.
Push your glasses up your nose?
That's right.
Oh.
As opposed to a bit of paper. All right. So, I think we've made no secret that we all like Star Wars here. My big question is, and so my segment was entitled "The Demise of Star Wars," but really it's a question of where do they go now? Now that they've killed everything off, like where do they go now? Because all the people that really, really wanted to watch these new Star Wars movies were not our kids. Our kids got dragged along to these movies because we wanted to see them.
Mhm.
They didn't go out of their own free will. They went because, all right, kids, jump in the car, we're going to the movies. And so nobody's really like, I was just trying to think of like, I mean, my kids don't really care about. Well, maybe David does care a bit about Star Wars, but like Sam doesn't. She's more into Marvel movies than Star Wars. And it was just,
mine aren't either, really, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. However, see, when people say, where did it all go wrong and all that, every single one of them made $1 billion, $1 billion movies. Every single one, apart from Solo.
I have a
Oh,
list.
you've got the data. You've got the data.
I've got the data. So I didn't go with who made $1 billion. I went with who sold in the lifetime of being in a cinema for the year that they were released. How many tickets did they sell?
Oh, nice.
Which I think gives us a better.
I like your stats.
Absolutely.
Number one movie of all time ever, Gone with the Wind, sold. Christ, I can't read this.
That's not a Star Wars film. What episode was that?
It's Tara, episode 15. 202
Recon Gin with the Wind.
202 million people went to see Gone with the Wind. That's 2/3 of the population of the current United States, which means back then lots of people went to see it twice. The second biggest grossing movie of all time ever by ticket sale is what?
A New Hope.
Correct. They sold 178 million tickets.
Is this only in America? You're talking
This is domestic. This is domestic America.
domestic, aye.
And if you
Right.
follow this all the way down past the top 10, at number 11, Star Wars The Force Awakens is the first of the new trilogy with 108,000. 108
But
million.
remember, that's not worldwide.
No, it's the US.
Aye, but the world's bigger than the US.
Okay. But as a
Right.
percentage of this is me, Jody, this is my argument, is the fact that
But
in
this goes
America,
up to 11.
this goes up to 11. Don't touch it, don't even point. This is a
Aye.
graph.
So what
It shows a trajectory of downwardness.
well, why don't you make 10 the biggest? And it, no,
No.
it's not.
It's-
Anyway,
this goes up. This is 11. That's because it says 11. Look, it's 11. Look,
So
it's
is the
11.
Force Awakens? Is the Force Awakens
So
the
what-
next most popular one on that list?
Yes.
But bear in mind, though, I'm going to give you a little bit of pushback here because I was quite upset with you for putting the Decline of Star Wars on. I thought this is going to be quite controversial.
Yeah,
a lot of
absolutely.
stuff these days has a. Are you upset with them too, Jody?
For a change. Sorry?
Are you upset
I'm
with
upset.
them too?
Yeah.
I'm upset.
Constantly.
I know.
He's
but
drinking
what I will say
Chardonnay with
is-
the chassis down there. He's getting nothing to be upset about in his Imperial Palace. More
But
wine!
what I was going to say is there's a lot more competition, though, these days for staying at home. I mean, you've got
There
Netflix, you've
is.
got Amazon Prime, you've got PlayStations and Xboxes, iPads.
Yep.
There's all that stuff is in direct competition. You've got illegal copies, and I know there always was this element of illegal copies,
Yep.
but getting to
That's
watch
very
a
true.
bootleg copy of anything these days is a lot easier than it used to be.
I think,
So there's a lot more.
yeah, and also for kids today, Marvel is their Star Wars. That's their.
I would
that is
say
their
so.
go-to,
Yeah, I would say
You need-
so.
You know,
You need to be able to measure it by some manner of means. I don't think measuring it by ticket sales is a good idea because tickets cost factors of amounts more than they did back in 1977. Because in 1977, your mum would give you £1 and you'd go there and you'd stack up in so much Kiora and you'd still be able to get into the cinema.
Mhm.
Whereas now you go £1 and the guy just laughs at you. It's very embarrassing.
Mhm.
see when you said the demise of Star Wars, I thought you meant the artistic demise. I thought
I'm
I
getting
know.
that's what I thought you meant.
Oh, you're getting
demise
to that.
of Star
So I have
Wars-
every right to be angry then.
Yes. Oh no, it's getting
Oh, okay.
worse. It's getting much
Okay.
worse. So, okay.
Getting worse.
Oh no, it's getting much worse. So the other big problem is that Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. They had this Star Wars Galaxy's Edge for those of you who are unaware of what Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is a part of a theme park in Disneyland, but there's
Look at
also
James' face.
in
He's like
For the
right, ready for this.
I liked
Yes.
your guys' topics.
I
Hey,
don't
go
like
on.
yours. Go on.
Anyway,
We're
This
gonna give
is
it to you
sober
tight.
James as well.
what's that?
I know.
That?
Just the Iron Brew. This is the Iron Brew talking.
Anyway, go on.
Go on.
Can make you smaller, right?
That's better.
Well, I stand on my soapbox.
I know.
So they had the in Disneyland they have a part of the park set up aside for Galaxy's Edge, which is a Star Wars land, which contains 2 rides. They've got a similar one in Hollywood Studios in Disneyland, Disney World as well, and they set up a registration system that said you can only go in at a certain amount of times, and there's like a virtual line, and you can only spend 2 hours inside that part of the park, and they did all this kind of stuff to make sure that everyone could get a chance to see it. And they opened the park and crickets. Nobody came. They didn't need to do the reservation systems. It's not busy at all.
I thought you couldn't go in the last time, though.
Oh,
You went. To,
having
you
said
went
that,
the last time you went there.
I was about to turn that around there. However, things have done a bit of an uptick, and I think the reason is because the second ride is open, which is Rise of Skywalker, which is Rise of the Resistance, not Rise of Skywalker. That's like awful ride. Rise of Resistance, which has been a bit of a draw for Hollywood Studios, but But again, they're not opening the ride to full capacity. It's only like 25-30% capacity.
Is that pre-COVID?
This is all pre-COVID as well. Yeah, all of this stuff is pre-COVID. I made sure that all of this is pre-COVID because I knew people would be like, well, actually, because of the global pandemic and all that kind of stuff, because I knew you do that. It's okay. I understand. It's fine. So there's that there. So the movies aren't getting good reviews either because everybody hates on it because everyone's looking
That's
at
true.
it like The Last Jedi was a complete travesty. Rise of Skywalker wasn't much better. People hate on Rogue One.
Who hates on Rogue One?
James.
People.
Oh, James. No, they
Okay,
don't. No one
James.
does.
James.
That was
Idiots
your-
hate on Rogue One.
That's fine
Idiots.
then.
Okay. Idiot.
I think Rogue One is probably the one that most people
Rogue
like.
One is the only movie they should have made. They could have saved a
That's-
fortune.
That's the one that nobody really says anything about, I think.
Mhm.
And Solo's getting that way as well. Solo's getting that way.
Really?
That people don't have a problem with. The
Um,
most controversial ones are Rise of Skywalker and Last Jedi.
Yeah.
And that's because there was no consistent idea from start to finish how they were going to do it. Or if there was, they should have done it with one director, not three directors with three different ideas.
Yeah.
That was a big thing, you know. That's the
the
biggest. I would say that's the biggest thing about how unsuccessful things have been. It's just been the inconsistency of the story.
Well, there's another unsuccessful thing as well, which is the toy sales, the merch sales.
Mhm.
For me, and I have a huge big caveat about this. Let's ignore the Mandalorian, okay? Forget about the Mandalorian because everybody and their uncle is buying the
Yeah, I know.
child. Even people who don't even like Star Wars are buying the child.
Mhm.
Mando.
And Mando. So ignoring that, I'm talking about the actual movies themselves. No one is buying the toys.
Hi, Anthony.
Hello, Anthony. No one's buying the toys right now, and that's a huge problem because they have all these licensing agreements. And Star Wars,
only collectors. The kids aren't buying the toys.
Yeah.
But again, again, that's probably down to Fortnite and computer games.
Fortnite's got a lot to answer for.
It could be down to that, or it could be the fact that let's take a look at Star Wars, the sequels. So the first time you meet Rey, what is she wearing?
She's wearing a mask, isn't she? She's wearing a helmet. You can't see her face.
It's like bandages and stuff
Yeah.
on her. Right. Second movie, what's she wearing?
A dark version of a tunicky thing.
It's basically the same thing, but it's a bit darker. What's in the third movie?
I
don't know. Now I'm on the spot.
She's wearing exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
So if you buy Rey from the first one, why do you need to buy Rey from the other two?
No, but collectors like variations, Sloan. I don't think that's a good enough reason.
How's that not a good enough reason?
It's kids.
When
Kids aren't playing with it.
Jody, tell him.
When we were kids, we would buy Luke Skywalker Bespin, Luke Skywalker Hoth, Luke Skywalker Dagobah, Luke Skywalker this, that, and the next thing.
I know, but it's only collectors that are buying now. It's a collector's market, and kids aren't really playing with toys anymore. I mean, The Force Awakens was a popular film. Last Jedi was controversial. I would buy from the 3 foot. I have done.
I know you have done. I've seen this.
Yes, exactly. And what was I going there with that? Anyway, it's a collector's. Collectors are buying these things.
Okay, it's a
collector's
thing.
They're releasing more and more variations of stuff.
This is my point.
Vintage stuff.
This is my point. You're talking about you're releasing vintage things and for collectors and Black Series and all that kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
All these are being bought by people who are 35 years and older who saw the original films. They're not being bought by kids. It's only a very what percentage of the population do you think is buying this stuff, like the collector stuff? Because it's more expensive than the toys themselves. So this is what I mean is that there is a decline. There's a definite decline in who's buying
100%,
Star Wars.
I totally agree with you there. Yeah, 100%. And see the Last Jedi figures. No one bought them.
No one
bought
them.
Person. The Solo figures are so hard to come by. I don't know if it's because they didn't make that many, or it's because people bought them. But I don't think it's because people bought them because folk didn't go and see that film really.
Yeah.
So I think it's because they didn't make that many because of the what happened with the Last Jedi. They decided not to make as many figures because there wasn't so much demand, and now you can't get those.
So you're putting that down to the kind of demise of the artistic content with regards to what's that? To be fair, it's not the kids who are watching the movies these days. Predominantly, it's us older kids who remember the originals, suffered the prequels, etc. I don't buy toys anymore.
There you go.
You're missing out,
Right.
John Paul. Thanks, thanks though.
Or are you? Or maybe you're making
And
my
plus,
argument
I
for
like
me.
your wee icon there, by the way. What is that? That's pretty cool. Looks like a one of those Billy Connolly drawings. You know, the ones that he kind of scribbles. I see, but John Paul, you're buying them because you want to.
Surely it's down to the parents to keep the kids interested in toys. I mean, James got me hooked, and to be fair, I did lose a little interest the older I got until the kids had. Anthony was saying he's trying to get his kids into that whole kind of action figure market, but I think it would really help. You know, like you were saying, Sloan. You know, if the movies were good and they could get excited about them, because the only thing Anthony's kids are watching are the Star Wars cartoons. You know, I think I'm sure that's right, Anthony.
And to that point, sales of the Clone Wars and Mandalorian toys
cool.
are.
Thanks, John Paul. That's pretty cool.
What's that?
So the sales of the actual Mandalorian and the Clone Wars and Resistance and all those TV shows, they're going up. They're on the way up, but it's still not. I mean, they're all on Disney Plus, so it's if your mom and dad subscribe to Disney Plus, then you're going to see the cartoon. You're going to want the toys. If you don't have Disney Plus, you're not going to see it. So you're not going to see it in the off chance of going with your mates to the cinema or whatever. I mean, it's only in the off chance that we saw Star Wars.
I think there's a general demise of kids playing with toys. I mean, my kids have never played with toys.
That is a good point, yeah, because of the games. I mean, kids aren't at games or a screen of some sort. So I mean, like, sometimes you give a kid to a toy and they just, I'm not being funny, they just don't know how to play with it properly. It's just that they lose interest in it really good. Anthony's kids are, like, as watching a kid play with toys, Anthony's kids are actually really good. He, like, teaches them how to play with them, and then they get lined up, set up, battles, fights and stuff. And it's just like, that's actually, you don't see that much these days. You know, but and I think if the content, Sloan, I'd agree with you. I think over the years, listen, I think the last Star Wars film was brilliant because I think it was a great family film, and it hit me in the right spot. And you know, it's around about Christmas time. Yeah, it was a bit like that, and I think that really helps if you can go and see it as a family. Gillian loved it, and it ticks all those boxes. And again, like I said 100 times before, if they can make something like that happen, I don't know why those toys didn't sell that well.
I'll tell you, I really enjoyed Rise of Skywalker as well, but I can still understand what Sloan's talking about, why people maybe didn't enjoy it. And it was, but I don't necessarily think it was JJ's fault. I know I've been over this millions of times, but I think it was, you know, it was kind of backed into a corner with what happened in
what would happen previously.
Yeah, so yeah.
So Anthony's saying that he's Freddie's hooked. Anthony, he doesn't watch Star Wars, though, does he? Or does he watch the cartoons? I think. See, the only thing he does actually, that I've seen Freddie play with, are just the cartoon versions of. You know, I don't know if he actually watches the films. I don't think he's old enough, maybe, for him to take him through and watch it with him. But that's where you've got to get them. If the content's good and it's family fun, I don't know why they haven't sold as well as they have.
Yeah. And the next question or the next statement I've got is, where do they go now? I mean, I guess that's a question.
Well, they go away from the Skywalker saga.
But where do they go? Do they go into the future or do they go into the past?
I think they go Knights of the Old Republic seems to be the thing that's generally batted around. So they go into the past, or they just say, let's just go somewhere completely different.
Yeah, remember they've still got the Kenobi on Disney Plus coming out. They've also got the Rogue One prequel.
But where are all these going?
Disney Plus, probably.
They're not going to the movies. They're going to Disney Plus.
No, they're going, but they're having a wee break, aren't they? They're 2022.
I think so.
I think it's the next Star Wars.
I think they are.
If only I had a picture of Ross at this point. We were on a break.
We're on a break, but I also think that they're going to, you know, maybe learn from their mistakes, regroup, and they're going to come back with a more kind of coherent. If they've got a trilogy, it will be a coherent story in 3 parts, not a mishmash of 3 different directors' ideas.
That's actually what Anthony's saying. If you're getting the younger kids to watch, it's so true. I mean, like, to get them to watch specific scenes like the Ewoks, etc. But see, trying to get any kid to watch the first half an hour of A New Hope is practically impossible.
They think it's
to
boring.
maintain. They think I mean, it is. I love it because it is a bit boring. I just love seeing the Sandcrawler. Just I want to see the extended edition where the Sandcrawler takes like maybe another 10 minutes just to go across the screen. But it is. But Ewoks are fun.
Don't screenshot
that. The Ewoks are fun, and then in Jabba's palace, that's gold. All the stuff in Jabba's palace.
Gold bikini.
Yes, actually, yeah, totally.
Those figures were banned, actually, weren't they?
They stopped making them. They stopped making them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lucas is a bit slavey. He likes things called slave.
Oh, there's Lucas on the phone.
George Lucas on the phone. Yeah, he's like, "How dare you? I told you that in conference."
Is he from Glasgow?
I was going to say to you, who's calling you at 11:15 at night? But it's not. It's 11:15 at night because you're in Canada.
Yeah.
So, I don't like saying it's the demise of Star Wars. I don't think it is. I think it's going to go bigger and better. I think they're having to just regroup.
Okay, okay, maybe it's a bit clickbaity, but
how it is clickbaity. But I know where you're coming from, right? So it's not, and it is kind of, you always kind of get a controversial vibe about your lists.
But, Armitage Shanks.
It's Armitage Shanks. He's got his little Han Solo gun
and his little toilet plunger.
I was just watching that last week at the weekend. Yeah, Solo.
So I mean, I
enjoy it.
Like the new movies that weren't part of the Skywalker saga, as they're calling it. I liked Solo, and I liked
Rogue One.
Rouge One.
Rouge Uno.
That was the French remake.
That was the French remake. Yeah. Well, actually, Rogue One is actually a remake of Rouge Uno.
Rouge Uno. Uno. That's not French, is it?
Doesn't matter, Jody. It's just a joke.
Rouge
I know, boys.
Rouge Un.
Look, I'm drinking wine, so I'm pretty much French. The most French person on this panel.
Anthony says he likes the gold bikini. I'm not going to.
What does he mean?
Anthony.
What does he mean? What does he mean? I would call.
What do you call?
I don't know. What does that mean?
Send him the invite. See what he calls. I think we're just wrapping up anyway. But
I think
it was. I don't see where they're going to go with it. They have to go backwards in time.
I think that's what they're doing.
As far as
the
new movies are concerned, they have to go back to do a prequel or like a prequel where it's like the old Republic.
Yeah,
and go back.
I think they're starting. I think they're almost starting from scratch, and that it'll be obviously completely new characters. Yoda might be in there though because he's obviously 900 years old.
900.
900 years old.
900 big man.
Listen. When you get 900 old, you'll be dead.
I think he drinks in the Klansman, didn't he?
He does. Now,
listen, you got to hit the jukebox at the same time as put your 50p in. He's like that old guy that used to be the swing where he would go up to the puggy machine when you were playing it. You need to hold that line there, son. You need to hold that one.
The grandpa in Only Fools and Horses.
During the Clone Wars.
Back in the Clone Wars. Back when I was a youngling.
I remember during the Clone Wars.
Oh, here he goes again.
Back when I was a Padawan.
Aye. Anyway, right. Are we wrapping up?
Yeah.
It's a school night.
It is a school night, yeah. Well, thank you all for attending on a school night. One final thought.
Final thing.
Call myself a Star Wars fan, but not next level fan. I feel like should be the audience to target. makes it really easy for me to watch. After Attack of the Clones, I haven't watched another one.
That's fair enough.
That's a shame.
I know.
Yeah.
I think you might be getting into that age, Anthony, where you could maybe pick. I think. Do you know if I get asked what film should I start watching, and you're watching it with the kids, I just say start with Return of the Jedi. Just if you want to get a kid's interest, start with that. I think. Mm-hmm. So anyway, that's my recommendation.
I'd say Force Awakens these days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So.
Force Awakens.
But anyway, thanks for everyone commenting. That was really cool.
Yes, thank you.
That was. Thanks. Cheers.
Thank you very much for coming by and giving your piece. It was very nice.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
My voice is going for some reason.
I'm going to finish this caramel log that I just started about an hour and a half ago.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Don't forget to smash the old like button and share as well. We really appreciate that. And of course, if you wouldn't mind, if you got this far and you want timely reminders, then hit the subscribe button, notification bell, and YouTube will do its magic and give you notifications when we post a new video up. But thank you all for watching, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Nice.
We'll do it live!